Okay. Good morning, everyone. This is video number 3. We will be going over the PSG versus Arsenal game, and yeah, it was a really interesting a match. I have to congratulate Paris for the victory in the end. I think that it ended up being a match of consistency. I think the moments that Arsenal weren't able to capitalize ended up being right their ticket out of the competition. I think we can think of Rice's chance in the very beginning. The first 6 to 8 minutes, Arsenal had really put on pressure. Odegaard had a volley that was saved by Donnarumma. He had an exceptional game as well, like keeping the clean sheet until later on in the match, which I will get to. I think that Arsenal can feel. I think that you can't just sum up this entire competition by just this loss. I think that, especially after these 2 legs, I think what Arsenal were able to do, especially going to the Bernabeu, beating Madrid convincingly, right, 5-1 on aggregate, 2-0 away from home, 3-0 away from home. It ended up being a little bit of a fairy tale. Like, you kind of felt like they were going to go the extra mile. I think in the end, what kind of thwarted their chances is that left wing position and the striker position. I think Mikel Arteta has assembled a really great squad. Timber, Saliba, Gabriel Kivior, they're interchangeable, Calafiori, Lewis Skelly, Odegaard, Rice, Partey, which I think is another position that they're going to have to bring in another player. I think Partey might be there for experience or, extra legs in the case of an injury. But they definitely need to find a solid defensive mid. You could think of Baleba from Brighton. There's a few options around the world that you can go ahead and find that can work with this team. But striker and left wing, I think those 2 positions are the most important part in this Arsenal squad. Those are the 2 last missing pieces. So if they can go find a left wing, you stick in the Prem, you can go for Anthony Gordon, right? You stick in the Prem, Alejandro Garnacho, he's a raw prospect that can work. I think that Martinelli, but obviously there's other players around Europe that they can look for. But Martinelli is a very interesting player. I think the things that he's able to do are great in terms of the defensive work rate. He tracks back, he assists, but outside of that, he brings little to nothing in any attacking sense. I think the goal that he scored at the Bernabeu was, again, the dying moments of the football match. You have players that are tracking back that are just kind of, they're just walking at that point. They didn't really put in the full sprint. It's like, whatever. You guys got the game. Finish it off. Who cares, right? But in a game like this, especially going up against a top right back in Achraf Hakimi, you need to bring your A game. You need to come and play to win. I think when you watch Saka play, he puts in the effort. I think as much as we want to clown him and talk down on him, I see a man who wants to play hard, who wants to win. Maybe he does go down a little bit easy on contact. I think a lot of players in Europe can actually learn from Lamine Yamal in terms of he's just no nonsense. He wants to play football. He wants to keep the ball progressing forward, finding that killer ball. So Saka, if he gets a partner up top at striker and then a left wing, right? Because you think of any great team in all of history, you know that they have a solid striker and you have a solid supporting cast, whether that be the left wing, the right wing, a secondary striker, right? Because you look at this Inter Milan team, they're set up to win. They're not set up to play and just find some lucky chances. They're set up to find exploitative final balls, right? The Dumfries chance is a perfect example. He didn't stop running. He kept running through Kurbasi's legs, right? That was the tying goal. And then it gets to Acerbi's feet, right? They have a system that works. They have players off the bench, Fratesi, Taremi, De Verge, Zielinski. They have players, Darmian. They have players that can come off the bench and still do the business and get them over the line, which, this Arsenal squad, do they have that bench? No. I don't think that you look at that bench and you see Raheem Sterling's on the bench. Can we bring him on to do something? No. I think he moved away from Ethan Nwaneri. I think he should have been the player to have started these two legs. I think it doesn't matter that it isn't his natural position. I don't think it matters that he's a young player, because you're seeing all over Europe, young players are playing and they want to win. Desiree Doué, Lamine Yamal, right? So it's like Lewis Skelly, even in your own squad. I think Mikel Arteta, he has to make some big calls this summer, right? Let go of some players, right? Sign some players, right? And this isn't the last time that you'll be seeing Arsenal in these positions. All they need is that striker and left wing. I think that they have the team, and maybe a center defensive midfielder. They have the makeup of a team that can be great, but it all depends on who they go and find at that striker and left wing position, because those are the two positions for me in the attacking sense as to why that they have relied so heavily on set pieces. Because look at the size of their squad, look at their defensive back line, look at their midfield. They have big boys, like, you know what I mean? I'm not even trying to be funny. They got some big dudes, in this team. So, that's why they were so great at the set piece game. But this game, PSG nullified that. Any throw in, any long ball, any corner kick, nothing really came from it, right? The goal that Arsenal ended up scoring in the game was a long ball. Trossard kind of shoves Marquinhos. I think he goes down a little bit too easily. If I'm Marquinhos in that position, I'm not looking to control the ball or play it back to my keeper, right? I'm booting that ball out. Hell no. I'm not letting him get the ball, right? Why would I allow an attacker the chance? Especially because I know the minute that we're at, 76 minute, right? We're up 3-0, right? The game is virtually in our hands. There's nothing else that really, there's no chances that you should be taking that moment. I'm telling you right now, you put someone like, Maldini in that position, you put someone like Nesta in that position, you'll see the ability to keep the ball, either to wiggle out of that position, not just go down and take the foul. I don't like that about football. Like, you just find, any little bit of contact, I'm falling down. Ref. No. Kick the ball out or take it in your hands and play it back to the keeper. You got to be more confident in that position. Trossard is behind you. He's at your mercy. If you fall down and then I get the ball and then it then goes through Pacho's legs, which I don't understand how unlucky he is of a defender, because you see the game that he played against Villa. I mean, he got the deflection goal against him twice, against Villa. And I was just sitting there like, is this dude does he have some sort of curse on him? Like, it went through his feet perfectly. It gets to Donnarumma, he parries, he can't save it, and then Saka goes and scores it. I think at that moment, we kind of felt like the game, okay, Arsenal might come back here, right? Then you make subs, Nwaneri comes off, you bring on Calafiori, right? You bring off Martinelli, you bring on Trossard, right? You bring off Timber, right? You bring on Ben White. But at that moment, it was a little bit too late, I think these substitutions should have been made at halftime. I think you go for the kill at halftime with the energy that you had in the first 6 minutes of the first half, right? Where did that energy go? Because I watched that Inter Milan and Barcelona game. It was every moment counted. Every moment. There wasn't a moment of, let's just keep the ball. Let's just recycle. Even in the 93rd, 92nd minute, they were just trying to recycle it to find a killer ball. It's like they're ingrained to think of football in this kind of structured manner. Like, play here, then you play here, then just I'm not a coach. I'm not a professional football player, but I do understand if my season is on the line and I have the moment to go and at least get a goal that can get us within one, right? Because they were down by 2. You throw the kitchen sink at it. You throw everybody up. At that point, just try. Even the 93rd minute, they were taking time to throw it in. Like, it's whatever. Arsenal, they got their problems to deal with. They really got to look at the squad though. But PSG, man, you gotta give it to these boys. Like, they got it. They got back to the Champions League final after the 2021 season. Behind closed doors. Everything was behind closed doors because of COVID. And this is the first time Paris gets to feel the energy from their fan base, and it was a great atmosphere. I have to be honest. The tifos that PSG has come up with were magnificent. But in terms of a game plan, João Neves and Fabian Ruiz in that game bossed that midfield. I mean, João Neves is what, 5'8", 5'7", right? And he is going to fight for that ball like he's 6 foot. He doesn't care. He's going to put himself to win that ball back. And I loved seeing that. The energy that this kid has, it's infectious. And that's why you see this team is playing so well from the midfield to the forwards, because they fight for each other. They work hard for one another. Kvaratskhelia, he hit the post in the beginning. He was so positive in this game. I loved seeing what Desiree Dua was bringing. The only player in that front line that I didn't like watching was Barcola. I think he had a chance that Desiree Dua had played to him, and you gotta finish that. He's taking too much time. And then Rice comes in and tackles him, and Desiree Dua had a chance as well. It was kind of a p-roller into the hands of David Raya. I think that this PSG could have killed Arsenal. They could have got 4, 5, right? So Arsenal can feel hard done by the penalty. Lewis Skelly, his hand is out. It is a penalty. Again, guys, I know we have become desensitized to VAR and penalties, but when there is a correct decision, you can't just all of a sudden say that's not a penalty. That is a penalty. It most definitely is a penalty. His hand is literally reached out. It's in an unnatural position. Like, his other hand was behind his back. He could have done this, right? He could have done this, but his hand was all the way out. Now, obviously, we're speaking in hindsight. It doesn't even matter that the penalty was called, because Vitinha stepped up and just, he didn't convert the penalty, so it ended up not even resulting into anything meaningful. But Dembele, the brother might be, he's favored now to win that Ballon d'Or. He is favored. He comes off the bench and immediately makes an impact with the assist to Achraf Hakimi to ice the game. Ballon d'Or is coming. It is there. It was between him and Rafinha. So it's like, I love where things are heading. We got multiple players, looking to create, history here, especially for PSG, first French team since Marseille. That Marseille team was pretty, controversial. If you look back into the history of how they won that championship, that Champions League, hey, there's some funky stuff that was happening back then, man. But Inter Milan, great opponent for PSG in this final. And I have to also say this, Saka, man, you gotta work on that finishing, man. You gotta work on that finishing, man. You skied the ball. I can't lie. I know it zipped to you, right? Where's the composure, right? Where's the composure to just delicately touch that to the bottom? Keep it down, keep it low. You skied it, man. I'm sorry, I had to say that really quickly because, the finishing today from Arsenal, look, they had chances, but they couldn't convert. That was it. And the chances that they had to convert ended up being whatever. But take care, guys.